Growing up, every single weekend, our dad used to bring us to many fast food chains. Like, for example, at few weekends, we used to have pizza, and one of my favorites was McDonald's. I remember eating all of the cheeseburgers, all of the french fries, all of the chicken nuggets, and I would gobble that up like it was the last meal on earth. And then I remember during the pandemic, locked in their houses, every time he used to bring chips to us, dude, I would eat like there was no tomorrow. But my most favorite meal of all time, one of my most favorite high carbs meal that isn't so healthy for me, but it is really great for bulking, is pizza. And man, anytime our dad used to bring us pizza, dude, you can just see me sprinting out of my room just to grab a slice before anyone else does. Dude, I would used to salivate before he even put down the pizza so we could, cut it and split it into pieces. And even though I like more salt than sugar, and it has been like that ever since I was born, I still liked sugary stuff, don't get me wrong. My most favorite during the pandemic was this called Bebe. You see, it is a Slovakian, or actually, I don't know if it's Slovakian. It's basically this like cracker that is really thin and it's vanilla flavored. Or sometimes it has pieces of chocolate in it. Bro, that was the only thing that kept me going during the pandemic. That was literally my only savior. Then we also used to have Snickers and other Slovakian candy like Horálka, Mila, etc. However, as years used to go by and I finally became a teenager and started thinking more about my mental health and my well-being, and I became 16 years old, I finally got on to self-improvement again. And I watched this really long and incredible video called Fat Chance 2.0, and it completely changed my view on sugar. Because I bet that if you go to any kind of supermarket, whether it's Walmart, Kaufland, Lidl, Billa, 99% of everything that they are selling has sugar in it to keep us hooked and addicted. And I'm not joking when I say that after I watched that video, I genuinely got up, went to my, fridge, grabbed the first thing I saw, and looked at the ingredients list. And bro, I was fucking disgusted. There were like E15, I don't know, gamma chemicals, or I don't know what was it. It sounded like an unidentified planet. And as I watched more and more videos about nutrition from other big YouTubers also, I concluded that the best way to get the best diet is to think about how our ancestors ate and eat only one ingredient's food that they used to eat. Because of course, our ancestors from 100,000 years ago, they didn't have fucking McDonald's. They only ate red meat, eggs, honey, probably dark chocolate if your ancestors lived in that area, cheese, and then probably some fruits or some vegetables if you prefer that, like sweet potatoes, for example, some apples, some pears, some oranges. You get what I'm saying. So, why red meat? Easy. When you want to make more muscle gain, what do you eat? Well, red meat, steaks. What do you think was the first thing when our ancestors caught a deer? They cooked it and they ate it. And bro, their muscles were fucking massive probably. But but we'll speak more about that later. Meat is basically like free protein for you. Not only will it make you, feel full because it's high in protein and also other chemicals like iron, zinc, and vitamin B. But the main thing that we are focusing on is the protein side of the thing. You see, when I say that you should eat steaks, I don't mean that you should go like, to a fancy restaurant when they serve you steak like on a silver plate on a, sizzling rock and it costs like $50. No, you can just buy a ribeye, for example, the cheapest one, and just cook, cook it with some salt and pepper. It's not that hard. The main reason why I love red meat so much is because it is the only thing that can actually fill me up. You see, when I ate pizza or McDonald's, I used to get filled up, but not in a healthy way. You see, when I ate McDonald's, like I remember this story. I remember like 6 years ago, our dad bringing home McDonald's, and I would eat the cheeseburger, I would stuff down like 20 chicken nuggets, eat like a ton of French fries, and bro, I would feel like I was pregnant. And bro, every time I ate pizza, dude, I would eat like 8 slices, and I would feel like throwing up actually. Because have you seen the videos of, of people feeding pizza to the tribesmen, to like the people who've been living like, our ancestors. You know how those kinds of tribes that live in the wild with no contacts to the, quote, civilized world. What happens when they give them pizza or, McDonald's? They get dumber. They get slower. They get lazier. And that's exactly what happened to me. Yet, when you eat red meat, yes, you do feel full because it's, high in calories. But whatever, the muscle gain is way better. And yet, your mind will get sharper. Now, why should you eat honey? Well, think about it. It's timeless. Bees have been making it ever since, the start of evolution. It has been around for millions of years. So why shouldn't you eat it? Our ancestors survived through it. And plus, it is it is just a better version of sugar. It doesn't fuck up your, your dopamine levels so that you want more and more of it. And I remember that every time when we would go to a hotel, like all four of us, my mom, my dad, me, and my younger brother, our parents used to eat bread with butter and honey. And bro, that was the best combination they could pick. But we'll get more into that later. Now, I don't really have to explain fruits to you, even though they have high carbon nutrients and they make you dumber because, they are packed with, fructose and they are high caloric. But basically, just eating one per day isn't that bad. I have an apple every single day and it doesn't make me dumber. Like, sure, it is a treat that quickly fills you up and makes you lazier, but that's why I eat it every single day before I go to sleep. To, actually not be, like hyper motivated and slow down my heartbeat before I go to sleep so that I fall asleep better. And also, vegetables are fine if you want to have them with red meat, like for example, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, I don't know, cucumbers, you name it. Also, this may seem controversial, but please, bro, don't eat grains. Like rice, oats, etc. Because you see, I don't care if you don't agree with me on this, but basically, grains were given to peasants in the past to make sure that they wouldn't rebel against their overlords. They literally make you dumber. They slow down your productivity and they make you lazier. Okay, so just avoid them at all costs. Just think about it. Do you think that a rich old king who had, a gigantic stomach and he had huge muscles, do you think that he was eating rice? Of course not. He was eating red meat, steaks, that his servants would use to cook for him at the best temperatures, with the best salt, with the best peppers, you name it. I already mentioned eggs. And the thing is, we as young men who are between 15 to 30 years old, we should eat 10 eggs every single day. I'm not exaggerating. You see, eggs are the source of cholesterol. And bro, don't tell me that cholesterol is bad for us. That is a topic for another day. But basically, cholesterol is the building block of testosterone. And as you may have already heard, testosterone is the male sex hormone. It literally makes you more productive, makes your muscles grow faster, and it just makes you a more masculine man in general. So that's why the best thing, the best breakfast that you can make is 10 eggs with some pieces of red meat. Or you can use also bacon, for example. But I would suggest using, like big chunks of red meat that you just cut up into like, cubes and then put it in. Although I would recommend that you put the red meat first and then the eggs after the red meat is cooked. And if you still have some doubts, then just for now remember, cholesterol is not the enemy, sugar is. Because salt doesn't make you addicted, sugar does. Now, this one may be a little bit controversial because it wasn't here since the dawn of evolution. It is a man-made, food source, but I still recommend it. You should eat cheese at least a few times every single week because it does have cholesterol in it, so that it builds testosterone. But it also has a lot of fats, which are good for you, and it also have calcium, which just makes your bones and your teeth stronger. And no, this is not an excuse to you to eat the bullshit American cheese every single day. And lastly, you should eat dark chocolate because it contains a chemical called flavanol. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but whatever. Flavanol basically lowers the risk of you having heart disease. And also it has less sugar, so it doesn't fuck up your insulin levels and your leptin levels also. And plus, it also has magnesium in it, which makes your mood better, and it also makes you less likely to get cramps in your legs. And as a tip for making it this far, basically eat anything that you can pronounce. Basically, if you look at the ingredients list of what you just bought and you see something like B12 thermalizer, then do not eat that. That just straight up sounds something that was made in a chemical laboratory. But if your parents still buy stuff like that, then I suggest that you should just eat it less. And if you want, here's a psychological trick for you. If you want those things to have a less effect on you while you're, quitting them and getting the better quality foods, you can quite literally tell your mind that they don't have an effect on you anymore, and they won't. As well as eating these one ingredients food that we just talked about, you can quite literally just say to your mind that they have a greater effect on you, and they will. Now, why should you eat like this? Why should you eat only these things that we just talked about? Red meat, eggs, honey, dark chocolate, cheese. Well, because our ancestors conquered the world. When you imagine them as a small, tribe that originated from the East Central Africa, they spread out all over the world. And wherever they went, they ate everything they saw. They ate everything that they hunted. You see, why does a deer run from you every time you go out for a walk into nature? Why does it run for you? Why does it, you know, try to attack you? It's because your ancestors have been hunting it for the past hundreds of thousands of years. So it's just a, so it's quite literally ingrained in her to just, when she sees a human, to run away. And that's the thing. Our ancestors conquered the world. They spread out everywhere. And the thing that made this possible, the thing that made us at the top of the food chain, the thing that got us respect from every single animal on the planet. Well, not every single, but you get what I'm saying. They only ate the things that they saw in the wild. They only ate these one ingredients food that we've been talking about. So, they picked up eggs from the ground. They saw red meat when they killed something. They saw dark chocolate, just growing out in the wild. If you're from the Americas, They basically made cheese from milk because milk was just always around, and it's quite easy to make cheese actually, when I think about it. They saw vegetables and fruits just growing out there, so they just grabbed it and ate it to make sure that it is not poisonous. Or when they accidentally broke a beehive, they saw that there was something orange dripping down from it. And so they, grabbed their tongues and they drank it, and it felt amazing. And yet, here we are, hundreds of thousands of years later, still eating the same foods, even though now it has been contaminated with sugar and all of these bullshit chemicals that you can't even pronounce. You need to start consuming all of the things that we've been talking about in this video, because not only will they enhance your productivity, your testosterone, your confidence, but they will also improve your mental health and your physical health also. And that is the thing that actually matters. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. And remember, no one is better at being you.